Hello and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host Morgan. So today, dear viewers, I do ask that you get your snowflake drink of choice ready because recently I posted a video about this whole sale of Lease and the Trump administration pushing to open the coastal plain of the Alaska, the Arctic Wildlife Refuge for drilling. Well, boy howdy, do we have an update on that. So, like I said, get your snowflake drink of choice ready. Usually I would prefer a latte, but I'm not a fancy bitch, so I didn't make one. I just have coffee. And let's jump into this. Since the first time I actually read the articles and looked at these sites on the government websites talking about this, which are all linked down in the description below, please go check them out. Please educate yourself. Never take anyone's opinion as the end-all be-all of anything. Always do your own research, but I digress on that one. So basically a recap, I will link my first video down below. The Trump administration is pushing to fast-track the sale of leases, enabling companies to drill for oil and natural gas off the coastline of the Arctic Wildlife Refuge in Alaska. Alaskans are split on this, and no matter what happens, the government is for sure going to get sued by environmental protection agencies. So now we're all up to speed. Well, the 30-day comment period has been opened. I believe it opened on November 17th because it's slated to end on December 17th. Now, the lease sale is actually being fast-tracked now. And the first time I read these articles, they were trying to get the lease sale to happen before the comment period ended, which it does look like that's not going to happen. There are supposed to be so many days after that 30-day period before the sale is supposed to happen. They were trying to close that gap a lot. The first wording from the blm.gov link I have down there is that the lease sale is to happen prior to December 22nd, 2021. So within a year of everything. And at that point, there was no date set. However, it was being rumored that they were pushing to do an unprecedented thing and have it pretty much almost the day after the comment period happens, which to my knowledge, there's no actual regulation saying there is X number of days after the 30-day comment period before the lease sales can happen. But there is precedent set. Our country runs on precedent, which precedent has kind of gone out the window with this most recent presidency, and that's just a story for another day. But as of today, I think as of yesterday, the lease sale date has been set. These leases are going to the sale of these leases are going to happen on January 6th, 2021 in sealed bids. Now, as of right now, I think it's still kind of up in the air who's going to show up to the lease sale. I am wrong on that one. That has actually been updated as well. There are companies saying that they're going to show up to the lease sale, but a lot of the quotes they have here from these spokespeople sound very wishy-washy about whether or not they're going to do anything with those leases. So here's the thing, here's the implications. Obviously, we know that I am a tree-hugging snowflake, liberal, violent protester because somehow we're both. But I care about the environment. I would label myself an environmental activist. Do with that what you will. Obviously, I'm against this. I'm against oil drilling. I'm for green energy. I'm for shifting towards a cleaner, more environmentally friendly future. Here's the thing. If the lease sale were going to do a more normal thing and happen about a little more than 30 to 60 days after the comment period ended, which from my research seems to be about the normal amount of time it takes a couple months after the 30-day period to happen, which is why the window to do the lease sale is a year out. then the Biden administration, it would be very easy for them to say, yeah, this thing's not going to happen now. But the Trump administration is pushing it to happen before the inauguration. And the reason they're doing that is because once the leases are sold, it's going to be very hard to stop the drilling measures. However, there is hope and there is reason to believe that even if the leases are sold, the drilling may never come to fruition. And that's because the Biden administration can impose so many regulations and make the permit process so difficult that their leases are effectively useless. And that's why some of the quotes here from some of the spokespeople that I'm looking at right now that I'm not going to read at this moment because honestly, I did a dumb and didn't double check that the article had not been updated before I started filming. So basically what it's looking like is a lot of these companies are already unsure about whether or not they want to waste their money to purchase these leases just to end up being taken through the ringer with this very extensive permit process that will effectively make their leases null and void for the most part. They're just going to be a useless piece of paper or whatever. So that is a little bit of hope, but let's keep in mind that as of right now, while our House of Representatives in the United States is Democrat controlled for the most part, we have a Democrat majority, and in general, environmental protections tend to be a Democrat thing, but that's a different story. Our Senate is still Republican majority at the time of filming this video. There are a couple of runoff elections that are going to happen in Georgia, and I am truly a Californian because I don't know what the hell date that's happening on because, you know, my state's the only one that matters, but that's a joke. I need to insert that here so that I'm not taken out of context. But the point is that as of right now, even with Biden in office by the end of January, even with that lease sale taking place on the 6th, and the Biden administration having the ability to impose regulations and things on any permits that would have to go with the leases, because just because you have the lease to do the drilling doesn't mean you have the permits. You still need to go through a permitting process. That can be, from my understanding, thwarted by Congress that is dripping in oil money. So that's concerning, but this is really just kind of an update I want to do. This whole thing is frustrating. It's really just, there's rage. There's a lot of rage in me seeing what this single person administration is doing. Again, I'm going to emphasize that if the United States wants to keep up with the rest of the world, we need to push for green energy. We need to push for more environmentally friendly policies. We need to move away from the freaking fossil fuel stuff, because drilling in this coastal plain is only going to cause habitat destruction. And I think that the cons massively outweigh the benefits here. And again, this is really more of just like an update video of what's going on since my previous video that will be linked down below. So that lease sale is set. It's going to happen on January 6th. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that environmental activist groups can really do about it. To my knowledge, they're still trying to sue over everything, but I am very skeptical that that's really going to go anywhere. Our best bet here is to hope that the Biden administration is successful in imposing the regulations and making the permitting process so convoluted that those leases don't matter. And after the catastrophes that have happened in previous years, drilling on that same coastal plain, there are oil companies that don't really want to deal with the possibility of losing as much money as I think it was Shell that was out there in 2012, but don't quote me on that. I'm talking off of memory, and my memory is kind of crap because it is finals season right now, and everything in my brain is gobbledygook, so take that with what you will. But it seems like some of these oil and energy companies are kind of, they're on the fence with the whole thing, especially knowing that the Biden administration has pretty much said that if this happens, they're just going to make the regulations so strict that the leases don't matter. And corporations are corporations. They don't want to waste their money on something that they know they're not going to be able to use. And also, underwater drilling is risky even if you're in favor of it, because it's so easy to end up destroying your own equipment and losing your investment, which is what happened years ago in that same area. Perhaps in a future video we'll talk about drilling and oil spills and stuff, but we're not doing that today because this, again, is just an update. So, bottom line here is that the lease sale is going to happen. The comment period is going to end on December 17th. And the lease sale is happening on January 6th. If there are any more updates prior to then, I will talk about it again here. And I will attempt to get all the information I can about the lease sale and what happens there and what the future is going to look like. So at this point, we just kind of have to hope that the Biden administration is successful in making these leases effectively useless. And that's all I really have for you today. So go sip your favorite snowflake drink with me, go hug a tree, and go shout your love of science to the world. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, please do comment down below. This is something that I think that people need to be having a dialogue on. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, afternoon, evening, what have you, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.